Hello everyone! Today, we're diving into what's stirring up frustration in the royal family regarding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. This time, it's not about glamorous events or royal appearances. Instead, it's about something far more impactful, encouraging Americans to vote and promoting values that resonate with everyday people. We'll explore why their actions have set them apart and why their stance on civic responsibility might just be the real reason behind the royal family's displeasure. Let's take a closer look. So let's break this down. In the lead up to a pivotal US election, Harry and Meghan simply encouraged Americans to make sure they were registered to vote. Now, it's crucial to note here, they didn't endorse any candidates. They didn't take a political side. They just reminded people of their right and responsibility to participate in shaping their country's future. And when they encouraged Americans to vote against hate speech in 2020, they weren't calling out names or making it political. They were standing against negativity and division. But just mentioning voting was enough to stir up frustration among royals and apparently violate some unspoken royal protocol. So here's the question we should all be asking. Is it so wrong to remind people to use their voice, to vote against hate? Because that doesn't sound like political interference. It sounds like civic engagement, a reminder that true power belongs to the people. But oh well, that idea might feel threatening to an institution built on centuries of inherited privilege, where the power doesn't lie with the people, but with a select few. And that's why Harry and Meghan's message is so refreshing. They're here to empower people, to remind them that they're the ones with the actual power to decide their country's direction. Historically, the monarchy steers clear of anything that could be perceived as political. They're rooted in tradition, observing from the sidelines and symbolizing stability without pushing for policy change. But let's get real for a second. This silence often translates to passivity. And if we look back, this rigid stance has kept the royals out of significant conversations. Enter Harry and Meghan, who have brought with them a fresh approach. They're not telling people who to vote for. They're encouraging people to participate, to use their voice. They're not out there endorsing candidates or parties. They're encouraging people to look closely at the issues that matter, to vote with their conscience, and to believe in their voice. It's about strengthening democracy, not undermining it. And yes, that shakes things up. Their message isn't about politics, it's about empowerment. But we have to ask, why does this make the royal family so uncomfortable? The simple answer is that Harry and Meghan's message threatens to expose just how outdated the monarchy's approach has become. While Harry and Meghan are speaking up for people's rights, others in the royal family are still sticking to ceremonial duties and trying to keep things business as usual. But this generation wants more than ribbon cuttings and photo ops. They want real action and genuine change. And the Sussexes are walking proof that a royal can be both compassionate and proactive, that titles can mean action and advocacy, not just tradition. So, while Harry and Meghan are rallying behind meaningful causes, what about the other royals? Prince William recently released a documentary on homelessness, which is an important topic, no doubt. But here's the thing. Documentaries are fine, but they're not enough on their own. Change doesn't happen through passive observation. It requires advocacy, actions, and sometimes, yes, even a little pressure on those in power. Harry and Meghan are leading by example in this way, demonstrating that if you really care, you have to put in the work. This is what the people want to see. Real impact. Royals who are not just symbols, but agents of change. And while the royal family appears frustrated with Harry and Meghan, it might be more accurate to say they're frustrated with the expectations Harry and Meghan are setting. Because let's face it, the public is starting to notice who's taking action and who's just taking photos. Speaking of action, voting isn't the only area Harry and Meghan have stood up for the values they believe in. Take, for instance, Meghan's calls to US senators advocating for paid parental leave. Now, was that political? Not really. It was about family and social welfare, issues that affect real people. Meghan knows the struggles of working mothers and the importance of family support, and she was simply amplifying a conversation that needed to be heard. But the royal family's reaction was, once again, shock and disapproval. Why? because Harry and Meghan are showing the world what it looks like to use your voice for something meaningful. If anything, the royal family could take a few notes here. Instead of being furious over Meghan's advocacy, they could ask themselves why they haven't been as vocal about meaningful policies that would benefit society. Take William's recent work on homelessness, for example. It's admirable to shine a light on homelessness, but producing a documentary without pushing for policy changes, that's what we call bare minimum advocacy. Imagine if he put his influence behind real policy reform like Harry and Meghan have done. By encouraging people to vote, promoting mental health awareness, and championing paid parental leave, Harry and Meghan have shown that royalty can and should stand for progress. They're redefining what it means to be royal by focusing on values that matter. And they're showing us that their loyalty isn't to outdated traditions but to the people they serve. And here's the kicker. Harry and Meghan's approach doesn't even contradict royal neutrality. They haven't endorsed candidates or become involved in any campaigns. They've remained politically neutral, but neutrality doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean watching injustice or inequality pass by without a word. Harry and Meghan have proven they're not afraid to use their platform for positive change, and that's exactly what the public is beginning to expect from modern royals. So, when we hear that the royal family is furious with Harry and Meghan, is it really about their so-called political involvement? Or could it be that Harry and Meghan are simply revealing the bare minimum that's come to be expected of the traditional royals? People are waking up. They're tired of symbolic gestures. They want active, committed royals, not just titles and empty appearances. The recent backlash against William's homelessness documentary and the criticism of the cancer video with Kate show that people want more than good intentions. They want action. In short, what the royal family is truly upset about is being forced to step up. This frustration from the royal family is rooted in fear. Fear that people are beginning to see the cracks in the institution, to demand more, and to ask why the rest of the royals aren't making the same meaningful impact as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's not just Harry and Meghan's political involvement that bothers them. It's that they're making the royal family's minimal efforts look even more lacking. And Harry and Meghan, they're delivering exactly that. The royal frustration isn't truly about politics, but rather about the Sussexes showing that royalty, if wielded right, can actually make a difference. So, what's the takeaway here? Harry and Meghan are showing us a new kind of public service. They're proving that you don't need a throne to make a difference, that advocacy can mean calling on people to use their voice and reminding them that they matter. Their message isn't political, it's empowering. And for a royal family that has always relied on tradition and staying above it all, this may be the biggest challenge yet. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think about Harry and Meghan's approach to public service. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all things Sussex. Until next time, remember, real change begins with each of us, and we each have a voice that deserves to be heard.